focus here. Okay, when we're talking about two-strike hitting, we're building off of what we went over with hitting the ball the opposite field. That's why we did opposite field work first, because in order to be a good two-strike hitter, you gotta be willing to let the ball get deeper. Why do we need to let the ball get deeper with two strikes? Because we need to be able to hit there's two main pitches that are a real threat when you have two strikes. What's one of them?
Curveball.
Anything off speed, yes. Curveball, anything off speed. The second thing that's a real threat is what? This one's a little tougher. Fastball where? Elevated fastballs. Fastballs up. I always tell you guys that we're hunting for the ball down in zone. Well, with two strikes, you got to be able to fight off this pitch now. And this pitch, just wait. Just wait. No, all right. So when we have two strikes, we got to be able to fight off the elevated fastball. We got to be able to fight off the breaking ball. Prior to that, you can really lay off of both of those things. So in order to hit the off-speed pitch, we got to let the ball get deep. Does that make sense? And we got to be able to use the whole field, or use the whole plate now. Most guys are going to attack you away, either off speed away or fastballs away. So we also got to be willing to hit the ball the other way. Prior to two strikes, you don't need to hit the ball the other way, and you don't need to hit curveballs, and you don't need to swing at fastballs up. So at two strikes, we got to let the ball get deep so we can take away two of those three things. The pitch that's away, now we can hit the opposite side, and then the off-speed pitch. Now we can wait on it. In order to defend the pitch that's up in the zone, we got to make sure that we stay on top with the hands. Meaning, when I say on top, I don't mean chopping. I mean that the hands stay above the fastball. If your hands get right here, look at me. If your hands get here, or you drop like that, or you collapse the barrel, you're done on fastballs up. So those are a couple of things that we're trying to counter or fight against. Right here, this is just kind of the leading one to illustrate that with two strikes, we're aiming more for that 3 zone. And I'm going to show you guys some swings where, like a Mike Trout video, where he's going to hit the ball late, really late, probably right here. And he's still going to hit it well. So we're going to get to that in a minute. Next practice on Wednesday, I'm going to give you guys this little handout, and then you're going to go through this, and we're going to talk about your approach with two strikes so you have a plan. But some of the things that your two-strike approach can include is a cue or a mantra. Something that gets you in an aggressive state of mind, in an attacking state of mind, in that attitude state of mind that we talked about. Do you guys remember the definition for attitude? No, that's its own word. Expectation to
dominate?
No, to win, reflected in your what? Body language. It's an expectation to win reflected in your body language. That's attitude. So with two strikes, you gotta have like some cue or mantra that gets you that attitude that you've got an expectation to win, even though it's a two-strike count. You gotta have something that gets you like a little bit amped up for that battle, that fight, so that we're not easy outs with two strikes or quitting or negative and stuff like that. So I want you guys to consider, like, what's your cue or mantra gonna be? Maybe for Gavin, it's showtime. Maybe for Carson, it's I hate you, he thinks to the pitcher. Maybe for Zayden, it's Zay's time. Whatever your thing is. Maybe for Nico, it's Frico time. And maybe for Levi, he goes more like positive, and he's like, feel the baseball. And he goes, something more like, just finds his inner zen. Whatever it is for you that gets you in a state of mind where you feel like you're going to be at your best, that's your cue or mantra. Adjust your crosshairs on the field. What that means is that prior to two strikes, I want us looking more like pull side. If I'm a righty, I'm looking over shortstop's head. If I'm a lefty, I'm aiming over second baseman's head. With two strikes, we're going to shift that now to righties, we're aiming more up the middle or over second baseman's head. Lefties, we're aiming for the shortstop's head. Does that make sense? So we're going to adjust our crosshairs. The third one, choking up. Today, mess around with choking up a little bit. See how it works for you. See if you feel like you have any more back control. Getting wider, getting lower, that's another option. Mess around with that today. We're doing all two-strike hitting today. So mess around with like, hey, do I feel better? Do I feel like I can make more contact? Do I feel like I can stay back on off-speed pitches better with a wider or lower stance? With a lower stance, though, one thing that you do right away is you make it a smaller strike zone for the guy to attack, and also a smaller strike zone for you to cover. I got down pretty low 2 strikes because I wanted to feel like I had a small strike zone that I could really dominate, so that I could zone in on that strike zone and make him throw it in there. The next one would be like striding early, no stride, lots of good hitters. with 2 strikes, like Bo Bichette, he gets pretty wide and he just picks up the front heel and puts it down. So it's a no stride and he just does like a heel drop for rhythm. Mess with that, mess with like early stride, mess with maybe a no stride today. Try and find something that feels better for you. Moving up in the box. I prefer to always stay back in the box because it gives you more time to see the ball, unless the guy's like really soft or throws a ton of breaking balls. If I was facing Gavin, I might move up because he throws a lot of breaking balls. He doesn't throw soft, but he throws a lot of breaking balls. So I'd want to maybe have a better shot at that, being that that's probably what I'm going to get. Next, moving up on the plate, definitely we got to get up on the plate, especially at our age, because umpires get pretty wide with the zones. So you got to be able to fight that off. If a guy busts you inside corner and we take some looking, that's okay. I'll accept Bryce striking out sometimes on a 0-2 pitch right on the inside corner. That's acceptable. Striking out on an 0-2 pitch on the outside corner, looking, is unacceptable. Does that make sense?
Yes, Coach.
You can't take away everything, but we want to take away some of the stuff. Do we need to change our load? Maybe like, you know, Max, prior to 2 strikes, he's like this, and he goes, you know, and hits balls 270 on the regular, and then with 2 strikes, he just takes away that crazier load. Whatever. Mess with like maybe a simpler load. Messing with your hand position, I think an easy one for you guys is with 2 strikes, just barely bring your hands up about 2 inches, because now that can remind you, I've got to stay on top of the high fastball, and it will be easier to stay on top of the high fastball if you bring the hands up 2 inches. Does that make sense?
Yes, Coach.
Okay. That's a lot of talking on this slide. The other slides will have less talking, but we've got a lot more slides, so stay locked in. We're going to watch some different clips here, because I think showing these guys helps you get a vision of what you want to be with 2 strikes, what we want to be as a team with 2 strikes. So this is a clip, and some of these are things I showed you guys when we talked about opposite field hitting. So this is Nolan Arenado, one of the best 2-strike hitters in baseball. That pitch is like right on the black, and he drives it the opposite field. But you'll notice, like, one big thing with us is when we hit the ball opposite field, we gotta like keep our chest pointed at right field more. Oftentimes when we're hitting the ball opposite field, our chest makes an early move off the ball, and we'll even finish up like with our chest here and our head here, kind of leaning this way instead of leaning more like over the plate, finishing with our chest pointing at right field a little bit more. So that's one clip there. This is same clip. Do I have them on there? No, never mind. This one is a little bit talking about like where our target should be. So I put down fastball target should be opposite field gap. This is an off-speed pitch, I believe. Let's see it. Yeah, off-speed pitch. So, yeah, that's an off-speed pitch. Off-speed pitch should be pulled in the gap. So what that means is like, it's okay when you get an off-speed pitch to be out front a little bit and pull in the gap. What I don't want to see is Nico gets up there with an 0-2 count and he's pulling fastballs foul. It's a bad approach, because now if Gavin spins him a curveball, Nico's walking back to the dugout. If Nico's late on the fastball and hits it foul down the right field line, that's okay. He fought that off, and now when Gavin gives him the breaking ball, Nico might get that base hit over shortstop, like what we saw from Bo Bichette. So really nice approach right here. You can tell he's a little bit out front, but he like reaches out and kind of extends through it and stays on it enough. He doesn't get all of this ball, but he gets enough of it, right? Certainly. So you can kind of tell like when he hits it, he kind of like reaches through a little bit, like he's kind of extending. And we'll do a drill in the cage to work on that. I'm working on like a full LSU video for 2-strike hitting, because they're really good with 2 strikes. They're really good with any strike. They're just really good. But especially at 2 strikes, they're really good. And they've got a reputation for like hitting a lot of bombs and stuff, but they also shorten up and get the ball in play and get a lot of base hits and hard line drives and solid contact. So this guy, big hitter, has a lot of pop for them. But watch this approach right here. This is an 0-2 count. And watch some of the things that he does that give him a better chance of making contact. And that's really all he's trying to do. He's trying to hit the ball hard, certainly. But he's, you know, he knows that he's got pop. And if he hits the ball solid, he's going to do damage. So watch some of the things that he does in this clip. So you might see that and just go, oh, ho-hum, he just took a swing. No, he makes a lot of adjustments here. There's a lot of things. His front foot gets down early. his hands stay like above the ball, stays really short to it. If you watch, if you watch him right here, so look, he goes like no stride actually. He's going with like the Boba just kind of picks the heel up, drops it. His hands stay right in that launch position. A lot of us, as we make this move, the hands start to drop. So he stays right there, and then the hands just go straight ahead. He's not trying to crush this ball. He's just trying to get barrel on it.
Pictures.
Sure. I don't think he's got position.
Worse than Ty France.
A couple more clips. Nolan Arenado again, because he's my favorite two-strike guy. Watch him on the left. His hands do a really good job staying above the ball. That's how you hit a high fastball. Hands are staying above it.
What's that inside?
I would guess it's probably more out over the plate a little bit.
Well, then why Steve Van Dyke has that?
Because he does that.
He does that.
He's got a little bit of a funky. He's got some funky things that he does. Like his head kind of turns almost back towards the plate. That's unorthodox, but he does.
His head.
Yeah, but he's got some weird things, but he's exceptional at some things too.
Is that tying to like he does weird things, but he does like a lot of things really well? So
Yeah.
gets away with, like,
And even his weird things, they're things that like how he keeps his left elbow bent and gets kind of pushy. Most people then pull off the ball. He doesn't. He's able to like get the elbow bent and then stops and braces the knob still. So he might look like this instead of like that, but it's accomplishing the same thing. But if you got 100 other people that are good hitters and tried to teach them that, it would end up screwing them up and they'd be terrible. So, but he's the one that can get away with it. Watch the swing on the right. 2 strikes. Drives it. Pretty cool swing. Watch again. Tries to stay through the ball. I call it chasing the ball. He hits it, and it's like it's a little golf term. It's like he's chasing through it, like he's staying through it.
Weird.
Look at his head again. He really emphasizes his head being like right at contact.
That is so weird.
It is a little bit weird, but he's won a lot of silver sluggers, and he's one of the best 2-strike hitters, whereas most kids or hitters, they pull their head a little bit. A couple more clips. We're almost done with these. This is Mike Trout. Inner half pitch, 2-2 count. Where does Mike Trout hit most of his extra base hits to? What part of the field?
A center, right? Center.
Yeah, I would think center.
More left center. This one though, and when he gets a pitch inner half, where do you think he tends to hit the ball?
Right field, right center.
What?
Right.
Left field. When he gets pitches inside, he typically will pull the ball. This is an exception though. It's a 2-2 count. He's not trying to do a whole lot with this. And watch his approach here. So inner half drives the double down the right field line. Kind of unorthodox. But he does that because, and it was an off-speed pitch. He's thinking, let the ball get deep. The guy's probably throwing me an off-speed pitch. He does throw him an off-speed pitch. The off-speed pitch kind of backs up on the guy, meaning it kind of stays like inside on the righty. Kind of a weird spot. But Trout's trying to stay deep on the ball, and he doesn't get off his best swing, and this is critical. Listen, he doesn't get off his best swing, but he gets off a competitive swing that can still do some damage. You need to be able to be productive even when you don't get off your best swing. We all know that all of you guys can drive the ball when you get off your best swing. All of you guys, when I put your records up there, they're pretty good numbers. But how often can you hit those numbers? How often can you come close to hitting 85, 90% of your maxes? Well, the good hitters can do it quite a bit. He does it a lot. There's lots of guys in baseball that can hit a ball 110 miles an hour like he does, but he can do it a lot more often. And he can hit a ball 98 miles an hour like that, even on a tough pitch that he doesn't hit his absolute best. Watch Christian Yelich right here. Look at the clip, fellas. Another 2-strike at bat. What do you notice with his setup?
Very tall.
He's tall.
He is pretty tall.
He's like
Hands
hands
are
are up.
He's not really wide.
What about the bat?
It's up.
It's up back. It's up like above his helmet.
Hand position on the bat.
Choked up.
Yes, he's choking up.
You can barely see it.
Okay. Watch as he swings right here.
What?
He gets-
Whoa!
Yeah.
That was
Sinks pretty low. Oh, don't stop.
He goes from there.
Is that before release that he gets there?
Yeah.
'Cause that's, I would say, that's a big.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. I don't.
That's way
So
different.
it's like
He chops.
sink and then like stride out and like as he
Yeah.
strides out, that's when the ball's coming out.
The big thing though with him that makes him a good hitter, especially he's a good two-strike hitter,
Oh, he's 22.
is his balance. He's got really good balance. And when Yelich struggles, his balance is not as good.
When
Okay.
you say he struggles, do you mean every season of his career?
Look at Mexican Eagle.
Since
That guy's done a lot in his career,
since
Bryce.
2019.
I'll be thrilled if any of you guys have half the career that he's had.
Right?
So be careful what you say about these guys.
1/10 of the career.
I showed you guys these clips last time, so I'm gonna skip those.
He owns the Mariners, the Houston guy.
Okay. That's what we're going over as far as opposite field hitting, or sorry, two strike.